Clumsy Hans. There was once a king who wanted his clever daughter, the princess, to marry someone truly special. So he announced a fun challenge. Whoever could make the princess laugh and bring her something unique would win her heart. Inside their bustling home, the eldest and second brothers carefully prepared beautiful gifts and practiced their grandest greetings. They wanted to win the princess's favor with their fancy presents. Clumsy Hans had no fine gifts. Instead, he hopped onto his goat, packed his special and slightly strange treasures into his hat, and cheerfully set off to the castle. His brothers just chuckled, thinking he had no chance. As Hans rode along, he came across a curious crow. He gently picked it up and popped it into his hat, thinking, "This might be handy." Hans never knew when odd things could be useful. "Look at that!" Hans said, finding a muddy old boot. Into the hat it went. He was quite pleased, certain it would make his haul extra special, even if no one else thought so. Hans stopped by a shining pond, scooped a bit of water with his hat. Splash! A few drops landed right on his nose. That made him giggle. He kept the water with the rest of his odd presents. Before Hans could reach the castle, his brothers arrived first. They showed off their fancy gifts, certain that one of them would win the princess's heart and the king's approval. With a burst of courage, Clumsy Hans rode up to the castle gates on his goat. The guards chuckled as Hans cheerfully explained, "We're here for the princess's contest." Hans marched in, bowed low, and all his silly treasures toppled out. The crow gave a little hop, the old boot rolled away, and a splash of water surprised everyone. The princess burst into laughter. Soon it was the brothers' turn. They gave the princess beautiful flowers in boxes tied with ribbon. Their gifts were impressive, but the princess only smiled politely. Next, the princess called for Hans. With a big smile, Hans presented the crow, the boot, and everything from his hat. "I brought the things that made me smile, and I hope they make you happy too," he said brightly. The princess laughed and laughed. She found Hans's odd gifts far more amusing than the fancy ones. The whole room started to grin as Hans's cheerful spirit spread to everyone. With a twinkle in his eye, the king declared, "Hans filled our hearts with laughter and kindness. He made the princess happiest, so he is the winner." Everyone cheered, even Hans's brothers. The princess chose Hans because he made her laugh and shared happiness with everyone. Together they walked in the castle gardens, with Hans's goat trotting along beside them. Hans and the princess celebrated with the whole kingdom. Laughter and joy filled the air. Hans learned that being yourself, sharing laughter, and showing kindness is the best way to win hearts.